Hello and welcome to our webinar. We're very pleased to see you all today. And first, let me introduce you to the team that is with me. So I'm Jerome, CRO of Data Arts Group, and I have Cindy and Clarkson with me.
Hi guys. Hi everyone. My name is Cindy Carpentier. I work at DataWorks for 7 years now as an SEO expert.
Hello everyone, my name is Clarkson. I'm the representative from the DataWorks Hong Kong. So today is our pleasure to share more insight about the global search. So shall we start now, Jerome?
Yes, but let me first introduce you about DataWorks. DataWorks is a group that believes in the beauty of nuances. When we say that, it means that we take care of every aspect and every specificity of each market, each touch point, each platform. We help brands to connect to the world in a faster, smarter, and more trusted way by orchestrating artificial intelligence and emotional intelligence in order to deliver content on a 24/7 wherever consumer connects. And wherever consumer connects is also wherever the consumer is going to search for you. So search doesn't have any more borders. Your users, your consumers are searching you everywhere. AI is part of the answer. And what we see as a pain point today for most of our clients is the silos that there are among the different companies that are silencing your presence online. So that's part of the topic that we're going to cover today. Let's first look at this gap. Why we say that those silos are silencing brands. It's because you are usually working well on your Google search, but it's only 30% of where people are finding you online. So let's pause there and see where are the remaining 70% of this audience. So there are part of your audience that is going to search on generative AI, whatever the model, that's part of the research. Social search is one important touch point that is often forgotten, but people are searching on TikTok, on YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest. Every touch point in social is also a way to look for you. Communities, those are places that are kind of safe zone for your consumer. They can interact between each of them without having too much brand coming in. But those are very important places where we can detect what is going on. And of course, you have local platforms from Naver in Korea to WhatsApp groups, to Mercado Libre or ShareChat. Those are local platforms where consumers are searching for you. So if you want to be visible, you need not only to address those 30%, but to address the whole ecosystem, which is today very fragmented, and each channel is operating differently. So now that we have the landscape, we have kind of same questions that we keep on receiving. Why is my organic traffic decreasing? Why I'm not visible on LLMs and my competitors are? Why can I really target Gen Z in a good way on Instagram or TikTok? Those are questions that we have. And the answer is it's not your SEO tool that is not working. It's just that your user behavior are changing and you need to adapt to those changes. You need to have a real consumer centricity in the way you're going to approach. And it's really related to your funnel of conversion and where people are looking for you. So can we deep dive into that, Clarkson?
Sure, thank you, Jerome. So let's look into the actual user journey nowadays. So you can see here we have a different digital touch point, and obviously we have different platform and different touch point. They serve different objective for your consumer. So first of all, your customer potentially they start with discover a trend from TikTok, from YouTube, this kind of very entertaining social media platform, I would say, and then move on. They will look into the community, the forum to look for the real reviews, your brand reputation, the pros and cons. They want to do more about the validations. And third, we have AI today, which will provide lots of data analysis, pros and cons comparison, a lot of things that can just summarize everything in a 2 to 3 minutes to your customer. And once they got more clear idea what are the products I should choose, what are the brands that I can consider, they might want to look into Google, YouTube to do the research, which where your competitors are also very active on this kind of platform. And last but not least is the e-commerce platform. We have Amazon, and your customer will buy and just they will probably to do the decision making on this kind of e-commerce platform. So this is I would say is quite a common user journey here today. So if your brand today is just present on one or two of these 5 digital touch points, I would say that could be a red flag to your business, because your customer, they look around from different platforms. So we need to look into where we are. We need to do the audit from SEO, AI, social platform, in order to ensure that your customer will not drop off in the middle of the user journey. So now let's look into some examples that the users is always looking for. And you can see from the Reddit, they might like what I mentioned, they will look into the customer review. They want to see how people comment about the brands and the products. And the second example you can see there, best shampoo for hair loss. This prompt hits 2.2 million search volume in 1 month, which the numbers is huge. There's a demand, and you can see here they might not looking for a brand, they are actually looking for solutions. So which means today we see a common blocker from different industry from our client is your website content answering the users questions. So they are looking for the solution. Is your content addressing what's in their mind, or you are still sticking with the traditional brand storytelling, informative content? So this is something that we must look into. And you can see the gap here now. If you find that your brand, your URL is not cited by the AI tools, which means the gap is not about the strategy or only the because of the translation. It's because you need to build a very organizational content strategy to be to break the silo structure, to contribute from different platforms. So I think this is also one of the example you can see. People is asking for solution from everywhere.
Yes, and what we see is that the silos within the organization are the ones that are breaking this journey. What we mean by that is that most of your teams are working well from search, social, from the content team, e-commerce, local markets. They are all doing their best every day to generate traffic, to generate content. But the thing is, they are usually not communicating between each other, and they are redoing, remaking the content. So there is an issue of the budget that is spent not in a unified version. The content that is produced is answering one specific touch point or one specific topic, but is not there to answer what is needed for AI. The social media is invisible in the way it's done for also AI engines. And the teams are translating the content, but without localizing it to match what is really working at a local level. So this different silos within the organization are the one step by step that are silencing the brand. So a unified version and rethinking the way the content is done is one of the answers that we need to address. The era where we were just looking for SEO keywords, producing the content is not the one that we are in anymore. The content needs a logic, needs to be modular and to adapt to the consumer expectation. The consumer centricity has always been around, but more than ever, it's the key that will unlock your visibility online, because you need to understand how your consumer is behaving, how is searching for you, the overall fragmented ecosystem, and how you can address that step by step. So let's look at the case that we have, Cindy.
Yes, thank you. So to illustrate the importance of global search, we wanted to showcase 3 different cases, 3 different brands from 3 different sectors, but always one same structural observation. So the first case we wanted to show you is a client who works in the luxury watch industry. And when analyzing this client's visibility inside of AI, we have noticed that this client only had 8.2% of visibility. When we compare this share of voice on the luxury watch main keyword, and we compare it to the main competitors, so the leader, we can see that there are a lot of room for improvement because the leader has 42% of visibility. So this was a first insight. The second is that these 8.2% of share of voice was mainly relying on third-party websites. Why is this a risk? It is a risk because if those websites just remove the pages, then your visibility collapses as well. And most of all, if those third-party websites remove the page, or if they are changing the content and you are not appearing on these pages, your visibility will collapse as well. A third insight is that Alibaba was the second site used by LLMs to provide answers to users. Why is that a problem? Is because when you're working in the luxury industry, being associated with Alibaba, which doesn't have a really good reputation and can be associated with counterfeits, it is not a good thing. Alibaba was ranking high because it published buying guides that was very well optimized. So this gives us an insight, a precise idea of what content should be written to outrank Alibaba. The second case we would like to discuss is Colgate. And this example is perfect to show why social listening is very important in your global search strategy. The first thing we would like to say is that the gap between content and demand is real. Why? Because when you detect a topic such as disease prevention and you look at the search volume, we can see that it is a very important topic, such as whitening, for instance. But when we look at the content available on the website, we notice that 2.5 less content on the website. So here we needed to create new content to tackle this opportunity. Then the narrative battle. It means that even though Colgate has a very good reputation in AI, we are facing competition from clinics, doctors, and dentists. So basically, when you are working in the health industry, your content should be approved and written by real health experts. This will improve your EEAT, your authoritativeness, and your authorship. We also succeeded in providing a real workflow that allows us from discovering the topic selection, provide the master content for this topic selection, and create and adapt this master content to create a real 360 degrees escalation. And we managed to do this in 4 weeks. Fluoride is the perfect example of why social listening is important. It is a very important topic now. It has more than 280,000 mentions on the open web, almost 7 million searches in 2025, and a year-on-year growth up to 38%. So what was a niche became mainstream, and what was a mainstream can become a public health crisis. It means that you should be aware of what people are saying on the open web to answer to users' consent when it turns into a public health crisis. If you don't, then your competitors will do. The third case is L'Oreal. So this is the perfect example to show that it is still very important in your global search strategy to adapt your content to the audience, to the markets, because people will look for the same topic, but in different manners. And you need to know how they will look for this topic so that you can adapt your communication accordingly. So for instance, in US and the UK, people are very fond of scientific and critical things. They are questioning every claim, and they have a high appetence for ingredients literacy. In France, actually, this is quite the opposite. We like avoidance and caution, and we like gentle and measured promises. And in Germany, Brazil, and India, it is also different. So we need to understand this, and we can have these insights thanks to social listening.
Clarkson, can you give us a few insights on how we see the horizon there and how we see that evolving in the coming years?
For sure. Thank you, Cindy. Your sharing is very insightful, fruitful, I would say. Let's take a step out and see what we are facing right now. So today, we have search, we have social, we have AI. This is where we are right now in 2026. But you can see every Tuesday are evolving quite fast. And what could be the future we can anticipate, I would say, what we call is agentic commerce. So which means because of the products will become more and more mature, and they maybe after 3 months, 6 months, the AI can already recommend or to be the new decision maker to directly give the products or the brand's recommendation to your consumer. So, which means in the future, if the AI agent can decide on behalf of the consumer, which means what we can do right now is to enter the competition. And we have defined the three ages of the whole evolution, I would say. So the first look into the left hand side. Um, so in the past, we have the traditional SEO. Everyone is working hard on the SEO content. We write the SEO meta title. We write the SEO description. Everyone doing backlinks campaign to hope to rank your keywords on the search engine. And today, even for myself, when I'm looking a solutions to address what I'm looking for or to address my concern here today, I will ask AI to give me the price comparison, pros and cons, the customer review. They can generate the answer for me just in 3 to 5 minutes. So it's very convenience. And so the time is now. Your competitors are already there. So it's time to evaluate. Is your brand, is your website has been cited on different AI tools. So tomorrow, like what I mentioned, the AI agent could be the new decision maker. And what we need to be aware is a lot of brands, especially our client, they are most of them are luxury client, they are enterprise client. They're really concerned about the result from AI describing their brand. Is it accurate? Is it 100% true about their history, everything? Is the brand voice aligned with what they want to show to their users? So I think apart from being site, also we need to work a lot on how can we gatekeep the quality of the AI result and content.
Thanks, Larsen. It's very insightful. Of course, if we are not present on AI, we won't be there for this agent e-commerce. So, Cindy, can you explain us how we can break those silos and be visible on all those touch points?
Yeah, sure. So our methodology is built around 5 different steps. And as we keep saying in the presentation, users are in the center of everything, of the strategy. And this is why we start our methodology with listening what people say on the web. Then we will audit your website, your different touch points. We will structure, it means that we will provide you with a clear roadmap, then do the production and monitor everything. So for the first step, what I said is that we will just see what people say about your brand, about your topics that you should cover on the websites, about your reputation, about your competitors, about everything that is important to your strategy. This will allow us also to detect on which channel you should address which topic. Then during the audit phase, we will see this a bit afterwards, but we have several audits that will be conducted during this phase. And this allows us to understand how performing you are on each touch point. And we will compare everything to your competitors' performance, obviously. Then during the structuring phase, it is where we will discuss budgets, experts to have for which projects, and to discuss the governance and the workflow. Then for the fourth step, for the prototyping phase, We will apply every recommendation and adapt the content to multiple formats and variations to ensure a 360 degrees coverage. And the monitoring phase is also very important because it allows us to measure the impacts of each action and to make sure that we readapt the strategy when it is necessary. So during the first phase, the listening phase, there is a real assessment that we have noticed among our clients is that brands tend to publish what they want to say in the way they think they should communicate. But the reality is that they do not answer to what people are really looking for. And that is a problem. And how you can know what people are looking for is with social listenings, because our experts will identify territories of expression, key themes, key topics, emerging topics as well, weak signals, subject at risk. We mentioned Farrell earlier. This was a perfect example. But also the content authenticity versus the manipulation and botting. Because we know that on the open web, we have lots of spammy websites, and we don't want to listen to this noise. We want to remove it and see which topics are really strategic to your industry. Then obviously people use different vocabulary than you do internally, and this is important to know this, so that we use the same vocabulary, so that when user will look for your brand or your products, they will find you with their own vocabulary and you get to understand each other. Obviously, different platforms mean different language. So we need to understand how people are communicate for a specific topic on the different touch points. We don't address the same topic on Facebook than we do on TikTok, for instance. And then, very important, the local variations. We mentioned the cultural and the language differences between markets. It is important to know this. And the social listening experts can help us with this. For the second step, this is the audit step. So as I mentioned, we have several audits that are conducted here. The first one is the SEO performance that will be compared to your competition. So we are going to look for your main keywords, your ranking rates, the top 10, the top 30, etc., the organic traffic, the organic conversion. But we will also look at your content to provide you with a gap analysis. And this helps us to understand which topic you are covering, which topics you are not covering yet, how you should cover those topics, etc. Then we have the social visibility that will also be compared to your competition. And we will analyze the posts that you have on the different platforms to make a gap analysis. And social is very important because we know that it can be used as source inside of LLMs to provide answer, but it will also pop out inside of search engines. So optimizing your posts and your profiles is very important. Then we have the AA visibility. So this will be based on a set of prompts that we validate with our clients and that we keep monitoring to have real insights about your visibility inside of the different LLMs. So we test it on all platforms available, ChatGPT, Copilot, Perplexity, AA Mode, AA Overview, etc. Then we have the review sites and the marketplaces. These are also very important for the review sites. For instance, we know that Trustpilot is used quite a lot by ChatGPT to provide answers to users when they are asking about what do you think about this brand, what do you think about this product. So it is important to know what people say. If you can just reply to comments on this website, just to feed LLMs with positive content. And obviously, because we want to be present on all of these different platforms, it means that your content should be accessible and readable by both. And to do so, we need to make sure that technically speaking, your website is okay. So we will conduct also a technical analysis of your websites. Another deliverable that we like to provide our client with is the visibility map. It is very straightforward. We understand at a glance which topic and on which channel we are visible. So this is the green boxes. And for which channel and on which topic we should do a little bit of efforts to rank better. So this is the yellow boxes. But the top priority are the red boxes, because this is your blind spots. It is where you are not visible, but where your competitors are visible. So for the third step, this is the structuring phase, we have 6 different elements that we do discuss with our clients. The first one is the editorial strategy. We want to know which content you should produce, which formats, which angles, etc. So this is a roadmap for the editorial strategy that we will define with you. Then we have the main strategy. So it means which budget should we allocate to which action, which expertise, etc. We have the target ecosystem. So it's the channels on which you should go. So if you're not present on a specific channel, we will recommend you to do so and how you can be present on this channel and what type of content you should produce also on those channels. Then we have the local strategy, as we mentioned several times in here. Very important to consider the cultural and language differences and the production workflow with the governance. For the first step, for the producing phase, everything starts with master content. So depending on our clients and the industry, either we provide this master content with AI. We have AI agents that are trained for the SEO and GEO, but we can also provide human expertise and write the content internally and optimize it. When this master content is ready, we send it to our AI agents that are trained for social matters. And thanks to a very solid knowledge base, we managed to understand how we can adapt this master content to the different social platforms. So we can also imagine creating assets, videos, wording, etc. And for the last step, the monitoring phase, what we really like is to cross data among the different types of monitoring. For instance, for SEO, we have the keywords monitoring to know your rankings, to know the volumes about the different keywords, to identify opportunities, etc. For GEO and I, we monitor the prompts that we validated with our clients, and we keep monitoring them in the long run, because we know that if we just monitor once, the insights are quite fake, because we know that for one prompt asked 2 times a day or in different days, the answer will be quite different. So it is very important to keep in mind that to analyze your visibility in LLMs, you need to define very interesting prompts, strategic prompts, and monitor them in the long run. Also, what happens here is that we are able to detect if there are any hallucinations from LLM, because sometimes we know that this happens. LLMs will use other third-party websites to provide information to you about your brands, but you don't control the narratives in here. So this allows us to understand, which actions should be done to avoid this type of problem. Then we have the social listening. So here our experts are keep monitoring, the conversations and try to detect the weak signals, etc., just to identify the new topics, the emerging topics that you should cover on your website. So sometimes we have conversational bubble. It means that people are talking about a specific subject, but when we are looking for the search volumes for the keywords around this topic, we don't have any. So here the idea is to try to keep monitoring everything, so that when people will look for this topic inside of Google, we know that you need to provide content, so that we will help you with this. We also have content void. So searches are exploiting, but you don't have any content. So again, this is critical. And if this happens, we will recommend you by what content you should write, basically. And then the narrative distortion. So this is what I mentioned earlier when LLMs have hallucinations.
Thanks a lot, Cindy. If we take a kind of a wrap up of all this methodology and what we can do with it, the first key pillar is that the all-in-one approach from the audit to the production phase to the localization of the content, having those local nuances is what can make the difference in order to speed up the time to market and really go from the intent to deliver the right content that will make you visible. The social intelligence is one of the key takeaways of this whole methodology, because it is what makes the real difference in the end, not just getting data from search volumes and so on, but by really understanding what is going on in the different markets, in the different touch points on the open web. And it really usually confirms every insight that we can have on a search or AI by having this social intelligence. So it's a huge amount of data that we analyze in more than 16 languages. And of course, the global approach of data worlds makes the difference there, because the fact that we have so many cultures, so many offices, is what enables us to understand those local nuances and to make a global strategy really working at a local level with the local platforms, with speed, time to market, because all the offices are working hand in hand. And it's in the end the three together that makes you break those silos and really have an increased visibility on your different touch points. So now that we've seen everything from methodology to a wrap up, we think that it's really the time to act. You might be invisible if you don't. So there is the worst is remaining in the status quo and not acting. So if you have any questions, you can ask them in the chat, and we can already maybe take the first question for you, which is, what is the difference between SEO and AEO or GEO?
Do you want to go first?
Yes. I think this question is a common ask, even from the Asian market, I would say. So, I think most of our clients, they have an impression that SEO and AIO, their workflow, all the production step are basically are the same. I would say, personally, I would say no, because we when we deliver the AIO strategy, we still look into the SEO audit, keywords, and such, the past data to fit to the AIO strategy. But in terms of, let's say, the monitoring tools, the way that you deliver the content on the website is so much different. The content narrative, the approach, the tone and manner could be different as well, because most of the time AIO, the content and the prompt, the user type is very conversational. So it's so much different than the I would say the SEO content in a very informative way. Yeah, maybe Cindy, you wanna give a few words about these questions too?
Yes. So to me, SEO and GEO have common criteria. As you mentioned, your content. So you have to optimize your content for SEO and for GEO. The way you're going to write a content might change quite a little bit. We know that for GEO, for instance, obviously we want the keywords to appear in the content, but we want also questions, FAQs. We want to have a summary at the beginning of the content. We need to answer to the user's questions directly in the first paragraph, etc. But the main difference between SEO and GEO is that SEO is on your own website. So you have the control of what you're going to do. But with GEO, even if you have this on-site optimization, you will also have to work on your PR strategy, because we know that LLMs will not use only your brand site to answer users' questions. They will also use other sources. And to make sure that you try to control quite of the narrative and influence in the good way LLMs, you need to work your PR strategy.
That's very true. That's why we love to talk about the backlinks for most of our clients, because backlinks is basically one stone, two birds tactics for both contribute to SEO and AIO tactics. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for this answer. Next question is, you mentioned different tools that you leverage. Is there one tool that you would recommend, like the teams can use in-house as a kind of magic tool, or any other solution?
Well, we would like that. But in reality, we have different tools to monitor the different types of expertise. So we have some tools to measure the SEO performance. We have other tools to monitor the social listening, but there is no one tool that does it all. So basically what we do is that we cross our expertise and build up like an aggregated reports to have everything at once at the same place, but humans need to analyze all of this data to make sense of it.
Thanks a lot. An interesting question about prompts, because analyzing the prompt is something important to know how the brand is visible. How do you build those prompts for the brand that are going to be the one, like the cohort of prompts that you're going to analyze?
So basically, and this is very interesting because this is this answers to another question we get quite often, is that is there any tool that can give us a monthly search volumes for specific prompts? Unfortunately, this doesn't exist yet on the market, so we have to come up with, a strategy for this. So what we do is that we use the keyword studio list, because we know that people are looking for those keywords. So if they are using those keywords on Google, they probably use it inside of LLMs as well to question, the AI tools. So we use those strategic keywords. What we do also is we use SEO tools such as SEMrush or Ahrefs. They have an editorial part where we can find out questions that are asked by users as well. And we use also other tools such as Answer the Public or People Also Ask. And we also speak with our clients to find out if there are any questions that they get from the client as well.
Thanks a lot for all those answers. If you have any more questions on your side, please feel free to ask them to our experts, and you will have a QR code where you can connect with us directly. In the meantime, I'm going to thank you for this webinar. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your attendance. And we'll be very pleased to follow up the conversations and make your brand visible online.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.